Ethereal TV, bringing you the 115th episode of The Last Piece to the Puzzle. The motto for me is silver, gold, and cryptos equals freedom, financial freedom, because they are decentralized assets, and they're going to play an important part in the immediate, the short term, and the long term future. And it's been over 2 years now since I've been drilling this into the head of anybody who's viewing my videos. I say the same thing for a reason. It's because I have belief that those assets are the key to financial freedom, which is very imperative, very important, especially in this day and time. So if you look at the cover art today, we have Fiat currency. I don't even know what that is under the microscope. I just found it on the picture app that I used to create this art. And I have fiat currencies under a microscope with a red arrow pointing down towards the dollar, or a dollar with the red arrow going down. So we're going to go into some things about the dollar. I'm not going to try to go too deep into conspiracies as much as I would like to. I could literally just rant for hours upon hours about the current beast system, the fiat currency system, how detrimental central banks have been to humanity, how evil and malicious and malevolent central banks, and the creation of the dollar, removing the gold standard. Gold was already, a thirst for mankind itself, and then, but at least it had parameters of stopping war. And if you really start digging into financial systems, you actually come to find out that gold was actually a reason for people not to go to war. But I'm not going to go into that deep concept today. Maybe another time, if you would like me to, and you're watching these videos, let me know just how deep you would like to go down the rabbit hole on this channel. But let's do some house clearing. As always, we are creating t-shirts using a real American-made ink press. So if you're interested in getting any work done for t-shirts, hoodies, we can do other types of ink prints. Inbox us. The links are below. You'll see those. Just click the more button on the description of the video and you'll see that. And you can always go to the Ethereal website, see what we have been working on for the last couple years. And like I said, stay tuned for some events, because I'm really trying to do some events definitely this summer, going into the fall, at least 2 or 3. I just gotta do what I used to do, talk to the venues and get it all set up. So I will be giving information on that as well when the time is right. So with that being said, let's go into the price action. Let's see. And if you see, I have a bunch of tabs pulled up today. We're going to kind of freestyle and skip around on some things about the US dollar. I'm going to also pull up some. It's not just the US dollar. That's why the title is not just coming at the US dollar. It says fiat currencies in general. Central banks around the globe has just inflated your labor, deflated your labor and inflated what you get paid your labor in, which is basically nothing, in my personal opinion. So let's give it a live refresh. Currently, we have Bitcoin sitting at $29,521. Ethereum is at $1,829. Ethereum had a huge drop of 6.5% in the last 24 hours. And compared to Bitcoin, that's like substantial. So be careful with altcoins right now, because Ethereum is the mega altcoin, but it's still losing value to Bitcoin. And, just go listen to some Bitcoin maximalists try to explain to you why holding Bitcoin is so important. And before you hold any other cryptocurrencies, you need to be holding Bitcoin, in my personal opinion. Bitcoin is the game changer. It's the behemoth out the bunch. It was the original, the originator, all those beautiful things. XRP is at 39 cents. Solana's at $44. A lot of these altcoins are losing value to Bitcoin right now. Polkadot is at $9.21. Let me look up. Chainlink is at $6.63. Man, these things are getting crushed in compared to the dollar, and even more so in compared to Bitcoin. Theta Fuel is at, oh my gosh, is that 5 cents, 6 cents? Wow, hammered, just hammered down. Let me see. Helium is at $7.14. Through all this madness, helium has held up pretty good. And I do want to give you Theta. Theta is at $1.14, also down 8.1% in the last 24 hours. Let's pull up precious metals. We give that a live refresh too. Gold is at $1,860 and silver is at $22.25. I actually, if you follow me on Instagram, I had posted some videos of me doing videos like a couple years ago, where silver in the video was at $15 and gold was at about $1,700. So even if you took that advice back then and got it on silver and gold back then, you know, you're up $7 on spot price of per ounce of silver, which is, you know, nice gains, right? We're calculating against dollars here, so it's not that hard, but you must have the right assets in your possession. And of course, let's do some charting. This is Bitcoin on the daily. We're in this symmetrical triangle. Some people are drawing this as a descending triangle, but I'm using the wicks, drawing it as a symmetrical triangle. I like to use the wicks because why? They happened. Bitcoin did go down to $26,700 roughly. So that happened. So I have to add it in my charting. I don't know why people don't. I think you get a much accurate understanding if you use the wicks. That's just my personal opinion. But you know, whatever works for you. But we have this symmetrical triangle, in my opinion. We broke down out of it, came all the way down to 28,000, and we had a crazy bounce off that level at all the way back up to about $29,700, right back into the triangle. So basically this is called a fake out, where we looked like we were about to head down, crash down. Well, we did, but we came all the way back up into this structure. That this is the only structure that anybody who's charting on the daily can have right now, because Bitcoin has been consolidating between, let's say, the 32,600 and 28,700 region for must be like 2 weeks now. Let me see. Yeah, roughly 2 weeks now we've been in this range. So definitely a move is coming. That was a fake out. So does that mean we're not going to break down, or we're just going to shoot up? No, not necessarily, but it could. Doesn't matter if you're dollar cost averaging. You're taking your time, buying what you can when you can, getting a cold wallet, putting it in storage, doing all the right things that make you successful in crypto through a longer period. You know, you want to be in it for the longevity. You want to understand it as much as possible. And if you truly believe in this asset, then you're patiently taking these opportunities to stack Satoshis, as we say. So let's get into the girth of the video. I have some articles pulled up. This one's from Goldman Sachs. It says a recession could tank the value of the US dollar. Goldman Sachs says, this is by Tristan Bove, and it says the US dollar index has gained 15% since last year. That means nothing. Everybody's excited about the Dixie. All these dollar people are like, the Dixie's going up, the Dixie's going up. It's the most deceiving chart that you could ever use to equate things. That means absolutely nothing when you have to buy gas, food, you know, heat bill, electric bill, all those things using the dollar, and all those prices have gained. So what we really have to do is dive into the inflation chart and to really understand what's going on, because the US dollar index gaining 15% means absolutely nothing. It's garbage. It's a lie. They are deceiving you so hard. And I just hate to see it because you have people who work hard every day. I think America has some of the hardest working people in the world, honestly. That's just my opinion. But anyway, as the Federal Reserve hawkish stance on inflation has boosted its strength against other currencies since the Fed began hiking interest rates in March, returns in the U.S. have become increasingly attractive, and global investors have turned to more dollar-denominated investments. In addition, to boosting investments in the U.S., a strong dollar relative to other currencies is good news for American consumers in that it makes foreign goods cheaper to import. This is the most deceiving, like the first two paragraphs, and this is so deceptive. But let's keep going. This could change very quickly if the U.S. economy slides into a recession. The U.S. dollar is currently highly overvalued. Analysts from Goldman Sachs recently wrote in a note, and they said it's unclear if the currency strength will hold in case of a recession. In April, Goldman put the odds of a recession coming to roost in the U.S. at 38%. More recently, the bank said that the risk of recession is rising as inflation continues to sit at the 4-decade high. Inflation sits at the 4-decade high. That means 40 years. And the Fed attempts to engineer its way towards a soft landing for the economy, wherein inflation is reined in without causing a significant drop in economic activity or a jump in unemployment. The Fed, this was all planned. The Fed, they are ushering in the crash of the U.S. dollar or the devalue of the U.S. dollar. If they didn't want to do that, they wouldn't have printed so much. So it's all in their plans. They're trying to buy up as many assets as they can with printed money. But let's continue. Let's read maybe one more because I have a whole bunch of other things that I want to get into. The dollar's performance in and around recession is less clear-cut than for other assets, Goldman and analysts led by economist Zach Pendall wrote, adding that other currencies such as the Japanese yen could be poised to take advantage of a dollar slump should a recession strike. So they're basically just talking about the dollar, what's it called? The dollar compared to other currencies, or the relative strength index, of the dollar. And that basically means the dollar compared to other assets. Let's go to another article. No, this is a chart that I wanted to show you. Wait, let's see. This is from a website called gasbuddy.com. 9-month average retail price. So I have it on the 9-month. You should go to this website and kind of use it to try to get an understanding. If you go to a year, you have gas at $3.04. Now the average price of gas is at $4.60 just in a year. So gas has the volatility of Bitcoin now, basically. I mean, just look how much gas shot up. And if you drive a gas car, and it doesn't matter if you drive an electric car either, because guess what? The price of electricity is going up as well. I didn't pull that chart up, but that's a 1-year period. If you go to 18 months, gas went from $2.11 all the way to $4.60. So this is, again, gasbuddy.com to try to understand where your dollars are going, why your dollars are getting less, even though the Dixie, the relative strength of the dollar is increasing, which means absolutely nothing once again, especially to the average American consumer. So this is 12-month percentage change in consumer price index, January 1980 through March 2022, and just look at that. So, and let's see. 1980 was its high at 15%, and right. So you were paying more in 1980 than you ever were, and currently we're on our rise back up. Basically, this means this is consumer price index, so it's like basically commodities versus the U.S. dollar and what you were paying back then. So you look at, let's just go back to 2009. It was at a low, and since 2009, you're paying at least 15% more for the same products that you were paying in 2009, and that's huge. That's huge. That's cutting into your savings and things like that. Here's the US Dixie, the dollar index, which means absolutely nothing, but the dollar is at 101.75. It has been rising, which is like, it's like the Dixie is like, it's not it's a Megatron. It's a Decepticon. It's like, literally, it means absolutely nothing for the average US consumer, because you have to look at inflation. Doesn't, like, the dollar never gains value. When? How is the dollar? Like, people were like, the dollar's gaining value. No, it's not. The dollar's not gaining value. Gas is gaining value. Food is gaining value. You know, if you look at the longevity of the Bitcoin chart, Bitcoin is gained immaculate value against the dollar, as so has gold, so has silver. So definitely something to understand. And I did want to pull up some more stuff. Let's see. Let's just look up yen inflation, because this is a problem with central banks across the world that have caused this inflation. Let me see. Japan has long sought more inflation and a weak yen, but not like this. So, same things happening in Japan as happening in America. Rapidly rising food and energy costs, coupled with a plunging yen that has hit a 20-year low against the dollar, are weighing on a Japanese economy struggling to emerge from the pandemic. Of course, you know, blamed on the pandemic. For years, as Japan tried to boost its chronically weak economic growth, it pursued what its central bank saw as a magic formula: stronger inflation and a weaker yen. It didn't quite work as intended. Inflation never met the government's modest target despite rock bottom interest rates and heaps of fiscal stimulus. Workers' wages stagnated and growth remained anemic. Now Japan is suddenly getting what is wished for, just not in the way it hoped. While overall inflation remains moderate, food and energy costs are rising rapidly, an outgrowth not of increased demand, but a market turmoil related to the pandemic and Russia's invasion of Ukraine. See, this guy's totally paid off. Of course, he brings up the pandemic and then straight to Russia and Ukraine, because, you know, that affects the whole markets. And the yen has hit a 2-decade low against the dollar, a dizzying drop of more than 18% since September that has unnerved Japanese businesses. The twin forces are posing yet another challenge for the world's third largest economy as Japan trails other major nations in emerging from the economic blow of the pandemic. The rise in prices has spooked Japanese consumers used to decades of stability. That's written wrong. And the weak yen is starting to look as it will depress demand at home more than stimulate it abroad. So, same thing here. Same thing. Doesn't matter. The central banks are literally just the scum of the earth. I have no problem calling them out every day. It's like my pleasure, because there's such a disgusting force that is on this planet, and we have to blame ourselves. We have to blame ourselves for putting the politicians that we put in power. We have to blame ourselves for letting it get this far out of control. Our consumerism, our lack of paying attention, our lack of holding people accountable has led to this. So we have to be mad at ourselves. And if you go to the euro, just type in euro inflation, type in any country you want, currency and inflation, and you'll get the same story across the grand spectrum of the internet of just liars. And they're going to blame the pandemic, and they're going to blame Russia and Ukraine and any other new event that they can come up with, monkeypox, shootings, everything to get your attention from where it should be. The causers of all havoc, using their fiat currency to manipulate and savage the entire planet of Earth. And while nobody does anything or says anything about it, everybody talks about everything else besides the beast system itself, but not your boy here at Last Piece of the Puzzle. I got you. I'm going to keep you on track, helping you understand everything that's causing the havoc. Doesn't have to be this way, but it will continue to be so until we fight. We dig up the root of the cause. We have to get back to the roots and really understand what's going on here, because the same things are going to continue to happen. Things are going to get worse and worse and worse if we don't fight back. The correct enemy, not the false enemy. You have to know who your enemy is. You have to know what you're up against. It's the art of war, and we have been at war with this beast for a very long time. So do your research on this stuff. Type in any fiat currency, like I said, across the board. You're going to get the same story, and it's all going to be blamed on the pandemic, number one, and then Russia, Ukraine, and then any news story that they could force down your throat through the media, through the mainstream media, will be used to continue to misdirect the people from fighting the correct battle, which is putting an end to central banks, putting an end to the creation of fake value, which gives people fake power, which turns out to be real power to the people who are manipulated and not understanding what's going on, because this is your hard work and labor at stake. And not just that, you're talking about lives of people who have been ruined by this beast system. So yes, we need a reset. It needs to be burnt down. And don't worry, your central banks will do it for you, because they're buying up all the food. They're causing the food shortages. They're buying up all the silver, all the gold, all the Bitcoin. They just don't want you to have it. They want you to remain in the same loop every day, reading the same stories that they give you, fueling your fire for something that has nothing to do with the cause. Because we all know the world is messed up. We all know these terrible things happen every day, and the worst things never get reported on the news. Only that what they want you to see gets reported on the news. This is what we're up against. Go listen to the Kennedy speech. I've literally shed tears listening to that man trying to call out this beast system. He got a bullet in the head for it. I have him up on my wall. I try to talk about these things. I really do. But as long as we continue to give power to the central banks, they're going to continue to corrupt. And, my big question is, like, where's the military stance on all this? But it's not up to them. It's up to the people to get the correct information to the military, to the troops, because they're following the politicians. So basically what I mean is, you have to get the right politicians in there for the troops to do the right things. If you have bad politicians in office that are malicious and malevolent against the American people, then guess what? The troops are going to follow their orders, because that's how troops do. So this is your boy, once again, Doc Blake. Maybe I'm going to go deeper into some conspiracy theories. I feel like I need to really touch on some subjects that, just burn me up inside, literally, because we're being taken advantage of on such a high level. This goes so deep. It goes into mind control. It goes into all those things. I've spent so much time studying those things. I try to get out of it because, I wanted to master the fiat currency, man. I wanted to understand the environment. I wanted to understand why, the same people who be like, money doesn't matter, I don't care, are working 40 hours a week plus to get money. Those things make no sense to me. So I had to try to solve that. I had to put time and dedication into understanding the beast itself, because the fuel behind it is fiat currencies. It is the central banks. And I'm going to continue to harp on that, but we might go down the rabbit hole a little bit more on some of these episodes. I kind of want to do a little bit more with articles, bringing up facts that expose this beast system, because they're a bunch of liars. So I'll see y'all next time. This is Ethereal TV, the last piece to the puzzle. Peace.